Din karaktär är så dramatisk!
Öppnar den där. I've never had my skills so tested in my life!
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Toadally the Toad back with another video. And today we are playing Dragon Age Inquisition, the multiplayer version. And I played a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition. In fact, let me just check how much. Okay, so I've played 435 hours of Dragon Age Inquisition. So, I guess I liked the game. I don't remember liking it better than the other Dragon Age installments, but I liked it fine. However, I did not play the multiplayer very much, and I was actually struggling to remember any part of it. So I invited my friend Momosat to try it again with me. Let's get into it, shall we? There is one great way to describe the multiplayer of Dragon Age Inquisition. It's dull. It's so dull. Let me go over it in different parts per the norm. And start off with the gameplay. Now, there are 4 zones that you travel through, with safe houses or safe zones in between them. At zone 2 and 4, events will trigger, and they are protect a person, recover an item, or defeat some specific boss type enemies. And I guess it's fine. You know, the zones are fine, the events are fine. It's nothing to write home about, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. After these 4 zones, there is a 5th zone, which is just sort of an extraction zone, like in Mass Effect Andromeda or Mass Effect 3. And there you have this final boss that you need to defeat before you get swarmed and killed. And that one is probably the best of the levels, to be honest. So when we played, we discovered that the first 4 zones are really easy if you have high-level characters, but the last one is so much more difficult. So it's kind of hard to up the difficulty, because then you can't finish the actual map, but if you have it on the lowest, so easy until you get to that last one. So yeah, the gameplay, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about, but it doesn't suck. It's fine, as I said before, it's fine. Let's talk about the maps. There are 3 types of maps. Elven Ruins, which we got all of the time. Olesian Chateau, which we got once. Tevinter Ruins, which we never got. And I wrote in my notes, they all look the same. That might actually just be because we only got Elven Ruins and then once we got the Chateau. But it doesn't truly matter, because whatever you get, it's only cosmetics and doesn't impact the gameplay. Now, if you want to, you can pick which type of map you get, otherwise it's random. Also, the layout of the maps are randomly spawned, but again, it doesn't really matter. I guess it's to make the games less samey, but they still feel very samey. So, not sure about that one. If you buy the DLC, you also get an extra map, Dragon Slayer, which we also never got, but in that map you get to kill a dragon. So, safely to say, obviously that's the most fun one, and we never got it. So that kind of sucks. But the maps, I guess they're fine, as most of the things in the game. It's fine, but kind of dull. On these maps there are of course enemies. And there are a few different types. There are Venatori, Red Templars, Darkspawn, Demons and Kunari. And if you get the Darkspawn, sometimes they're also accompanied by some Shabritol? Some other things that hurt you. And the enemies are probably one of the best things about the multiplayer, because they are quite diverse in how they work, and that's a good thing. I mean, there is a very distinct difference between Venatori and the demons with what abilities they have and what they do, and that's pretty good. But again, when we played, I don't think we ever encountered Kunari. But we only played, we played a few games, so maybe that's why we only get the same things over and over again, but it was a bit frustrating to not get all of them, to try them out. Next up we have the characters, and there are 17 characters divided into mages, rogues and warriors. And again, it's fine. The characters are fine. They have different abilities, and no character particularly stood out to me as being more fun than the other. But I did notice that some of them just felt better than others, especially if you play alone or with fewer people. Like I played the Legion, like the dwarf warrior character, and I could finish the entire last wave on my own. But if I played sort of the alchemist, I kept dying over and over again because she's so squishy. And again, that could just be me not being good with the alchemist, but I got the feeling that the character you play really matters, unfortunately. You start out with only 3, 1 rogue, 1 warrior and 1 mage, and to unlock the others, you can either get them randomly in loot chests or craft them with the materials you get from loot chests or from the store, which I will get into later. But crafting new characters, it's kind of tricky, because the real fun ones, or what appears to be the real fun ones, they are so expensive with crafting materials that even though we did play this for quite some time, I didn't manage to unlock the one I really wanted to. And getting them in loot chests is such a small % chance that you will get one that it's basically 0. Yeah, I've unlocked quite a few, but not all of them, and I have not unlocked the one that I remembered really wanting to unlock. So if we talk about the characters a little more, they also have gear. And they start out with just basic gear, and in these loot chests or in the store, you can buy more. And all of the loot that you buy and which is spawned is entirely random. But the gear really matters. Like my friend, she got this staff that was just so bonkers that she just killed everything. Which is great for me because I didn't have to do any of the work. But that meant that even if I used all of my abilities, she still killed more characters more easily because her staff was just that good. But you don't really want to spend money to get gear or craft gear because getting new characters is so difficult. So either you need to grind so much that you have all of the characters and then start getting gear, or you just hope that you get that one character you want and then you just can start getting gear. But doing both at the same time, really, really tricky. As I said so many times, getting new characters and getting gear is super duper difficult. And these store boxes are super duper expensive, especially when you consider how little gold you get if you play on the easiest setting. It takes forever to be able to buy one of these store boxes. And since the loot is random, it's about 50-50 if you get something you can actually use. The loot chests, they contain gear sometimes, but not always. Sometimes they contain gold only, and sometimes gear. And that's really frustrating. As I said, it's hard to get, it's hard to buy, and it's hard to actually get what you want. And that's not very fun. If we combine all of these things that I've just talked about, what I've come up with is, don't play this game alone, because you will have to play on the easiest setting and that will give you nothing. I mean, the amount of gold you get is so low, and when you get to the last one, unless you play some very specific characters, it's gonna be a struggle and you will lose. So, don't do it. And it's not fun to play alone, so really don't do it. If you play 2, like we did, it's better, but as you can see here, there are different doors which leads to these loot chests, and they can be dispelled by magic, force, or by lockpicking. And if you play 2, you can only get 2 of these types of things, you know. Dispelling is by the mages, warriors can bash, and rogues can lockpick. And I mean, the chance that you get that one you don't have with you on your team is so high that it's really silly. So playing 2, again, is really easy when you do just the normal 4 zones, and then when you get to the last one, it's really hard. And especially with some of these enemies, the bolters, I'm looking at you, it's kind of difficult. So I'm not a big fan of playing only 2 people, because you don't get any more loot when you play 2 people. so it's clearly made to play for like a full team and have higher difficulty to get more loot, but it's so difficult to find 4 people to play with at the same time, especially with this sort of game, if you don't want to play like online with random people, which I don't. So, I guess. So all in all, the gameplay is rather dull. You get tired of it very, very soon. Some of the spells are fine, some of them are just not very useful. Same with characters, same with gear. It's alright, but you tire of it really quickly because in the end it's rather dull. However, I hope you did not find this video dull. Instead, I hope you liked it, and if you did, give us a like, subscribe and all of that jazz. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!